All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's Stadium. 49ers practice today down here in Santa Clara. And with the injuries to the kickers, they brought in a couple kickers. First, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, 49ers open against the Steelers a week from next Sunday in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field, and who's going to be the kicker? We don't really know. Jake Moody had a pulled quad, and so his status at this point is up in the air. Tomorrow is the cut down in the NFL, so all teams have to be cut down from 90-man camp rosters to 53-man regular season rosters, and we have no idea who's going to be on the rosters. Jake Moody's quad pull going to be severe enough where he's out for an extended period of time? Will they put him on the IR? Will they put him on the active roster? I don't know. And then Zane Gonzalez, who's also had a very good camp as well, the veteran kicker, has made a 55 and a 57-yarder in camp and has looked really, really good. But he had a calf strain and that he suffered in warm-ups on Friday night before the Chargers' final preseason game. And so we don't really know the status of Zane Gonzalez either. Then, of course, there's always the speculation that the Niners will call Robbie Gould, their former kicker who's never missed in the playoffs, who's still sitting on the couch at home in suburban Chicago somewhere. Does Robbie want to play anymore? Will the Niners call him? Well, we knew they would bring in some kickers. Kyle Shanahan indicated as much the other day on the conference call. And today they did bring in two kickers. One is a name that will be familiar to Niner fans, and the other not so much. It was Tristan Vizcaino and Taylor Russolino are the two kickers that were brought in today for a tryout. Let's first talk about Russolino. Russolino is a 34-year-old kicker who kicked at Division III Millsaps College and just finished his season in the XFL with the Arlington Renegades. In fact, Russolino had a 58-yard field goal in the 2020 XFL season, which to this day is the XFL record for the longest kick in the history of the league. He's a kicker who's from Metairie, Louisiana, which is the training camp home, I believe, of the New Orleans Saints, or at least used to be. Came out of college in 2011, was not drafted. He's played in the NFL before with the Denver Broncos. He's 0 for 1 in his career as an NFL kicker. He did kick in the Canadian League in 2017 for the Montreal Alouettes. He's 2 for 3 in the Canadian Football League. Originally, he was a soccer player who didn't even play high school football until his senior year in high school. So Taylor Russolino is one of the, and is coming off a good year with the Arlington Renegades in the XFL. But he's 34 and a guy that's a relative no-name to really anybody. A name that Niner fans will have heard of is Tristan Vizcaino. Now, Vizcaino is a little bit younger. He came out of college in 2018. He played at the University of Washington. He was a UW Husky. And he's been everywhere and back. I mean, 2019, he was with Cincinnati. 2020, he was with Dallas. 2020, he was also with Minnesota. He spent some time with the 49ers in 2020, replacing Robbie Gould when Gould had to go on the COVID list. And in fact, Vizcaino made 3 for 3 in his 49er debut, filling in for Robbie Gould. So Vizcaino has never missed in a Niner uniform. He also played 2020 with Buffalo, 2021 with the Chargers, 2022 he played with New England. He also played with Arizona and then played with Dallas as well in 2022. So he's 9 of 10 in his career in the NFL. So he's made 9 of 10 field goals. His long is 47 yards. He was released by Dallas on August the 7th after losing their place kicking competition in their camp this summer. So, interesting name. I mean, he's an NFL kicker that's been around for a few years, and I would imagine between Vizcaino and Russolino, they probably would lean on Vizcaino. But the other question is, are they going to call Robbie Gould? And how hurt is Zane Gonzalez? How bad is the calf strain? How hurt is Jake Moody? How bad is the quad strain? There's a lot of unknowns, but today they brought in Taylor Russolino, who's 34, and Tristan Vizcaino, who's a product of the 2018 draft, who's a little bit younger, for workouts. Now, is Robbie coming in the next day or two? I don't know. Is Robbie at a point in his career where he doesn't really need to try out? Could they just sign him without seeing what he looks like? Maybe. But the Niners, this is a major thing. Is like who's going to be your kicker week 1 at Heinz Field against the Steelers? And right now, I would say, we don't know. Jake Moody, Zane Gonzalez, Robbie Gould, Taylor Russolino, and now Tristan Vizcaino, it sounds like are the options. And I don't even know that Robbie's an option. The Niners haven't said that they're going to bring him in. Robbie made $4.8 million last year. He wanted a raise, I'm sure. The Niners, once they paid Hargrave, were like, hey, we're going to try to go cheaper in some other areas. And so they used a third-round pick on Jake Moody. And I think Shanahan still very much enamored with Jake Moody, the leg power, that he could be the Niners kicker for years to come. But he did miss 2 field goals and a PAT in the preseason. He now has a quad injury, and his status for opening day is up in the air. So who knows? It could be anything. They could put Jake Moody. Jake Moody could be the guy in Pittsburgh a week from Sunday and be the kicker all year, or Jake Moody could be put on IR and his season could be done. Zane Gonzalez could be the kicker at Heinz Field a week from Sunday, or Zane Gonzalez could be put on the IR himself with a calf strain. I don't know the severity of either injury. There's also been a lot of speculation this summer that Zane Gonzalez has kicked well enough that he actually might be an attractive trade option for teams around the league that are looking for a veteran kicker that don't have one. I mean, the one thing about Zane Gonzalez is he's kicked well enough in this camp where you could make an argument that he could be a starting kicker on any number of teams. So, will the 49ers, how serious is his injury? Tomorrow is going to tell us a lot. Which kicker do they put on their active roster? Do they put one of these guys or both of these guys on injured reserve? That's going to be interesting. Do they trade Zane Gonzalez to another team for a 7th-round pick in the 2024 draft? Do they sign Tristan Vizcaino and have him kick in week 1 and go with 2 kickers on the active roster in week 1? I mean, there's a lot of options that are available to the 49ers at this point, and it's obviously vitally important because this is your place kicker and the regular season is just around the corner. But that's the story here in Santa Clara today. Tristan Vizcaino, the former UW Husky, and Taylor Russolino, most recently of the Arlington Renegades, both were in here today for workouts with the 49ers, and we'll know a lot more on the kicker front within the next 24 hours. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.